So, a tiny AI company just claimed they built a model with 12 million token context window. If true, this would be one of the biggest jumps in long context AI we've ever seen. It would not just mean pasting in code bases or a book, or even a few books. The average book has around 100,000 tokens inside of it. GPT 5.4 came out in March, and that was the first OpenAI model to have a million tokens. A million tokens is a very recent thing, and with a million tokens, you could fit about 10 books. With this supposed 12 million token context window, you'd be able to fit 120 books. You could quite literally fit a library of data into this model. You could fit corporate code bases into this model. The context window would be large enough to entirely forget about compaction. But there's a problem. Nobody can use it. Now, this actually isn't the first time Subquadratic has made this claim. A few months back, they had made this very same claim, claiming to have a 12 million context model, but access was closed, evidence was thin, and most were immediately skeptical. Now they've released Subq 1.1, and that same 12 million context claim is back. The big promise that Subquadratic uses is something they call Smart Sparse Attention, or SSA. The main issue regular language models have has become increasingly their attention. At small attention sizes, like 4,000 or 8,000 tokens, it wasn't even consideration. But because of the way that attention works, the compute required to have higher context is quadratic. This has quickly become the most expensive aspect of LLMs, and many companies have tried to resolve it. There was DeepSeek Sparse Attention, which helped bring the compute down, but it was still quadratic at the end of the day. Linear attention was proposed, but the quality of the attention was horrible, so that was thrown out as well. Subquadratic is proposing a linear attention method that is somehow still as good as regular attention, but has the compute cost of linear attention. In their paper, they claim to be 191 times more efficient at 12 million context than DeepSeek Sparse Attention. Now, to be fair, this does not appear to be complete vaporware. Subquadratic has actually published some technical data on the model and the methodology, and they also have a third-party evaluator, Appen, saying they'd tested long context retrieval. Appen reported that on needle in the haystack testing, the model's results were very strong, showing near perfect retrieval on 12 million context. So that narrow claim that they have a 12 million context model and are able to retrieve data from it does actually have some evidence backing it. Now, the big caveat is that pulling a single fact from 12 million tokens is not even close to the same thing as a model reasoning over 12 million tokens. Needle in the haystack testing is useful, but it's one of the easiest long context tasks. Many models can and do struggle with reasoning over even just a million tokens, and even with the current state of closed source models, such as GPT 5.5 and Claude 4.8, you'll notice a visible degradation in quality the closer you get to a million tokens, let alone 12 million tokens. But here's where things really start to get iffy. While that 12 million token figure is what makes the headlines, the actual product roadmap is a lot more complex once you dig into the fine print. During their initial reveal, they were touting a research breakthrough at 12 million tokens, yet the only thing available was something called Subq 1 million preview. Fast forward to the release of Subq 1.1 small, and the model card reveals they're only working with a handful of early partners. They claim that the larger variants, ranging from 2 million all the way up to 12 million context, are arriving at some point in the future. That is a massive shift from the idea that a production-ready 12 million token beast is ready for public testing right now. So the real mystery isn't whether they just cleared a benchmark hurdle, it's about whether you can actually get your hands on and what has actually been demonstrated in the real world. Now, Subquadratic does actually have one important piece of evidence in its favor. Appen, a real third-party evaluation company, has published benchmark results. That matters. It makes this stronger than just a random startup just posting a chart on Twitter, but even on there, The public evidence is thinner than you would want for a claim this big. The Appen write-up mostly supports long context retrieval and coding benchmarks, not broad real-world reasoning across 12 million tokens. And there is some confusing naming in the public materials too. References to SubQ 1.1 small preview, a SubQ 2M preview small endpoint, and even a nano variant in the long context results. That does not prove anything shady, but it does mean the validation is not as clean and airtight as the marketing makes it sound. Now, what's important here is that this claim isn't impossible. Everything mentioned in their papers and existing methods point to a 12 million context being theoretically possible. And so I think the correct take here is that it's not a "this cannot be real," rather it's more of a "which parts of this are real." Subquadratic has two very different claims being referenced and mixed together in their posts, and I think they're intentionally doing this to stretch their claims further than what they actually are. The first claim is that Subquadratic has a model that can retrieve a planted fact at 12 million context. This claim does seem plausible and seems to have some evidence to back it up. Their second claim is that they have a production-ready 12 million context model that can generally reason, code, and operate over huge real-world problems, and this claim has almost nothing to back it up. My verdict on Subquadratic is that while I think they're worth watching out for, I don't think their claim holds much water until independent users are able to test it en masse, or other firms are able to substantiate their claims. I think the probability that Subquadratic has a model able to perform the needle in a haystack task over 12 million tokens is decently likely, but the chance that they have that same model able to accurately reason over 12 million tokens is pretty low. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed my overview of Subquadratic. If you thought I did a good job and stayed until the end, I would really appreciate subscribing to the channel. It's a pretty small channel and I'm still testing things out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.